friends, welcome back. So I am today doing a completely separate video for my 37-week appointment, even though it happened actually on my bump date day, because just got really nasally. It was, I don't know, it wasn't like a weird visit, but it just is stuff that like I want to remember for later. And if anyone else is wondering like what hospitals are doing or anything like that, this will kind of give you an indication. So I live in Maryland, and Maryland governor has been keeping everything like we were one of the first like stay-at-home orders. We were one of the first, just kind of everything, I guess, in the nation, which was good. It's been keeping the numbers down of coronavirus cases and like that kind of thing. But now we have been doing the stay-at-home stuff for almost 2 months now, and it's been, you know, an interesting time. Everyone is staying at home as much as possible. Everyone who's at my house is good, just trying to keep as healthy as possible and whatnot. So 37 weeks, I was gonna ask anyway, but I wanted to see with my doctor, what's the deal when I go to deliver? Will I have to wear a mask because I'm breathing heavily through labor? Like that kind of thing. Because, you know, as I'm sure if you've been watching me now, you know, this is my, wow, I'm a mess. Sorry. This is my second pregnancy. And so last time I was not wearing a mask because it was 2.5 years ago. And it just, you kind of are just like, and like, you really are going as you're trying to push a baby out. And so I can imagine how it is with a mask, having to wear it and everything. So that was one thing that I've really been dreading. And yeah, I don't know, it's just been like on my mind a lot. It wakes me up at night. I'd say nightmare, but it's not really a nightmare. It just is always on my thoughts and everything. So I definitely wanted to ask. She started volunteering the information for me, and yeah, so I will get to that. But it was a telemed appointment or a telehealth, depending on what you've been hearing. And so basically my OB, my obstetrician, said, okay, I'm at the point where I'm supposed to have weekly appointments. So I had 36 week, 37 week, 38, 39, and then delivery day would be 40. And so because I'm in those 1 week stages, they're like, well, we still want to keep track of you, but if everything is progressing as it should be, we'll do every other one as a telemed appointment. So I went in last week for my 36 week. I posted a video. Had my group B strep test, which came back negative, which is excellent. Just means I don't need when I go to deliver, I don't need to have antibiotics, which is great. And so that came back negative, and so I went in, they checked because I was there. They're like, okay, do you want to check for dilation? You know, we'd like to check, but it's up to you, completely you, it's your body. And I was like, yeah, you know what, we're here. And especially if I'm not going to come in next week, let's see where we are and everything. And so at 36 weeks, I was 0.5 centimeter dilated and 70% effaced. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, that's not much, but it's progress. It's something, right? So that's cool. Not that, honestly, dilation and that stuff doesn't really tell you all that much. It's not going to be like, okay, you know, you're going to progress at 1 centimeter a week and then you're going to have to deliver it. Like, there's nothing like that. So it really doesn't tell you a whole ton. The only reason why I did want to have it checked was because when I had Abby last time, I went in at 39 weeks and because my blood pressure was coming up, and so they induced me. Now, the reason why I wanted to know my numbers and dilation and everything was because I knew I was at 2 centimeters dilated. And so I knew I wasn't starting from 0, which was really nice. And I don't remember my effacement at that point. I want to say 80%, but I really don't remember. I can look back in the videos, or you can. But yeah, so just knowing I wasn't starting from 0 when they started to induce me, that was kind of nice. My body was already like, all right, you know, we're getting ready. We're going to do this thing. Like if I had another week, I probably would have gotten further along, but whatever. So I did have them check that last time. And I'm talking really fast. Okay. So yeah. Where was I? So my telemed appointment. Yeah. And so last time they said, okay, everything is looking good. You sound good. I suggest you have a telemed. You can come in if you want. but we're just trying to limit the exposure risk and everything like that. And I'm like, you know what, I'm feeling okay. If something happens, I'll call you guys. Like, that's not a problem. And so I decided to do my 37-week as my telemed appointment, and I had that yesterday. And so started out, was actually with an OB whom I've never met before, and because the practice has so many different doctors, and so I'd never met her. So that's actually kind of nice. In case she is the one to deliver my baby, at least I've seen her face before. Not actually met her in person, but we did talk like we're doing here, like on YouTube, but not live, because I'm not doing a live session. And so she was just like, okay, like, are you able to check your weight? And so I gave her my weight number. Are you able to check your blood pressure? And I was actually wearing my cuff because I was checking it when we started the call. So I gave her my blood pressure number and my home blood pressure reader, which has a digital readout. It like puffs up itself and everything. And that number was 113/75. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Like, that's a great number. And that's pretty consistent with how I've been the whole pregnancy. So I was very happy of that. The doctor, she said, okay, sounds good. But are you, I see on your chart from last time that you did develop mild preeclampsia, so that high blood pressure toward the end. She's like, that number sounds good. We can't check it. And so next time at 38 weeks, I really do recommend you do come into the office, and so that we can make sure your number is okay. And we just, that's right when it started climbing last time. And I'm like, awesome. Okay. But it makes sense. Like, I would like to make sure everything is going well, and I'm not a doctor. Like, the fact that it's such a weird time, it's like, okay, be your own doctor. Okay, good luck. It's like, what if I didn't have a blood pressure cuff? Like, would I be going in every time? Probably, I guess. But this office is not the normal one I go to. It is about, the normal office I go to is like, I don't know, less than 10-minute drive from my house. And this office I have to go to is almost 45 minutes away. So it's like, it is a hassle to get there. And I mean, granted, I will do anything for this little guy, obviously. But it was, yeah, I don't know. So I have to be my own doctor. And yeah, the one thing that obviously they can't do is check my urine. I'm not checking my own urine. I don't have whatever dipstick they're putting in it. So we can't track for any like trace proteins or anything to tell if my pre-hypertension or anything, or pre-eclampsia. And they also can't measure my belly to make sure he's still growing. So yeah, they also can't check the heartbeat. I don't have a Doppler at home. And so all of those things were missed. And so it just is like such a, I don't know, I've said before, I'm glad this is my second baby, so I know all of those things. But this is such like an amazing time in a woman's life to be going through this pregnancy, whether you feel great or not. It's still such an amazing thing. And to be stripped of that because of this virus is like, it's, I don't know, it's sad. It's really the only word I can come up with. It is sad. And I feel so bad for you, other moms in this time. And especially other first-time moms, or I'm not a first-time mom, for first-time moms, but I empathize with you here. So, okay, we went through all the normal stuff. So then she says, okay, I want to tell you about what the current policy is regarding labor and delivery. And I was like, yes, please, I was about to ask that anyway. So now, like I said, I live in Maryland, so each state is different. But we are now, she said, effective Monday, which is in a few days. Effective Monday, every single woman who comes into the labor and delivery department to get checked out, you start with a pre-screening, check your temperature, and every single person will be swabbed for COVID-19. Okay, like, whatever, it's a swab up the nose, like, about to go through a lot of other stuff, so it's the least I can do, I guess. And she said, and we are allowing you to have one single support person with you, whether it's a spouse, it's a parent, it's a whoever you want it to be. It can only be that one person. It cannot switch out people, and that person has to stay with you the entire time, and they will wear a mask the entire time. And I was like, okay, do I have to wear a mask? That was my big question, right? And she said, when you come in, you wear a mask. We will test you. If you are negative for COVID-19, you do not have to wear a mask during delivery. You wear it all the other times, but she said everyone else in the room is going to be masked, gonna have goggle thingies on, gonna have a face shield on, gloves, the whole 9 yards. And I was like, okay, so as long as I'm negative, I don't need to wear a mask. Excellent. Okay, that was good. But my husband will wear a mask the whole time. He can deal with that. He's not pushing out a baby. So, yeah, so that was good. And then I said, okay, now, not that I'm positive, but you never know. What happens if I do test positive? And she said, if you test positive, you will wear the mask the whole time you were here. You will not take it off, and you will have to go through delivery with it on completely. And I'm like, okay, like that would not be fun, but I get it, you know? And so I was like, okay. And then she's like, but also, and I'm like, there's a but also. And apparently there is. But also, the worst part is that after I delivered my baby, they will take him away from me, and I'm not allowed to see him. I'm not allowed to touch him. I'm not allowed to hold him. I am not allowed to feed him anything for 14 days while he's in NICU nursery. I know NICU, like, it's like a preemie thing, but like my hospital doesn't have a separate nursery. It's when you go to after delivery, you are with your baby. There's no separate nursery. So baby stays with you normally. And so your baby is separated from you. I made this face. I think I was just like, oh my God. Like, I cannot imagine going through 9/10 months of pregnancy, having him kick me, going through all this stuff, developing such a bond with this baby, and then I'm not allowed to see him, or, I mean, maybe through a window, I don't know. But either way, if I can't hold him for 2 weeks, all because of this virus, I'm gonna flip out. Like, I will not be a happy camper. And so, yes, people, my whole thing, please stay home. Please stay home for all of us moms who have been quarantined, staying home ourselves so that we don't have to go through things like this. And yeah, it was probably the most upsetting thing that I had heard. And so, yeah, I basically am like, all right, anyone in my house, you're not going anywhere until after I deliver, because I don't want to not see my baby. And yeah, so it was very emotional. I was really upset. I started having, last night, or it was 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago, I started like having nightmares. Last night, I started having nightmares that they took him away and I never saw him again in my rest of my life. Like, so it's really not great. And it's of course adding to any blood pressure rise. So I'm really not trying to think about it at all. And like wearing a mask during delivery now, I'm like, I don't care. Like, sure, I'll wear like a full bubble suit. Like, I don't care. But to not be able to see him after, I don't even know. I don't want to think about it. And so everyone in my house will stay healthy, and hopefully when I go there, there will be no issues. And I will just have a normal delivery. And the other thing, I know they're rushing the moms out of the hospital, trying to do it within 24 hours and stuff, which is fine, whatever, you know, if it gets me out of there. But if I can still have him, I will be happy. So that is the reason why I wanted to do a whole separate video just on this appointment, because it was so emotional for me. And yeah, I mean, I'd say luckily they told me this while I was home, because no one can come to these appointments with me. So the ones where I actually am going into the office, like I will next week for my 38-week appointment, last week for my 36-week, I have to go completely alone. I'm not allowed to have anyone with me. No one can come into the office. It's just me. Now, I guess someone could drive me technically, but I'm not going to waste someone's time. I don't know. I'm just not that person. So I was kind of glad that it did happen at home, because then I could walk right next to my husband and I'm like, oh my God, like, listen to this. What is happening? So yeah. But that is the current policy, the current deal with what's going on in Maryland, and I'm due in less than 3 weeks now. And so the chances of that policy changing to go back to normal is pretty much non-existent. So that's probably how it will be when I get there, especially since that testing, I think technically hasn't become mandatory yet, until Monday, which is in a few days. So I don't know. I don't see it changing, but as long as we're healthy, we're all good. So I think I've rambled enough. That was pretty much the end of the appointment. Doctor wants me to come in. I will be in there in a few days. I will be in there on Tuesday. Yeah. Did I make it for Tuesday? Yes. I made it for Tuesday, and my bump date's not till Thursday. So I'll get another appointment video in before my next bump date. And hopefully everything is going fine. And I can keep little man with me as long as possible. Now I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to deliver you. Like, you were mine. Like, I'm not even kidding. Because if I have to give him up, I'm not even getting into that discussion again. So you will be with me. You're staying right here, right? Yeah. This is not a bump date, but just in case anyone wanted to see it. 37 weeks and a day. But, yep. All right, that's enough for me. Sorry for the rambling and craziness. But I will see you in a few days. Thanks. Bye.